Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's reading, we are going to be doing a truth you've avoided but are now ready to face. So we're going to have some oracle cards, we're going to pull out tarot and learn more about a truth that you're finally ready to face in your life. So take some time, pause the video if you need to, maybe meditate or just find which pile resonates most with you. I've got group 1, 2, and 3. And whenever you're ready, we'll dive right in. Hey, group 1. All right, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading on a truth that you have avoided, but you are now ready to face. So, Spirit, can I please get some messages here for my group 1s? A truth that they've avoided that they're now ready to face. Okay, the darkest night. Okay, so some of you might be going through a little bit of a dark night of the soul type of moment. I'm going to pull the book on this one because this is a fairly new deck for me, and I want to give you a really good, accurate reading. But right off the bat, I am hearing that the darkness that you're facing is part of your soul's journey. Okay, whatever this hardship is, whatever this journey that you're on where you're feeling a bit of isolation, this is part of your soul's growth. This is a truth for yourself that I think you're coming to terms with, that you are ready to face. Okay, that this is part of something bigger than yourself. This is part of your soul's journey. This is part of your mission here on earth. But let's pull out the book and see what the author had to say about this. Sorry, I'm trying to find it here. Okay, page 90. Some glamorize the spiritual awakening process, implying that it's all light and love, expanding highs, unity consciousness, deep peace, ecstatic bliss, and spiritual visions. One thing's for certain, those people probably haven't been through the dark nights of the soul. This is a time of deep initiation for the soul. After the expansion caused at earlier stages of the awakening journey, we're invited to descend into what's been hidden in the shadows, inherited, pushed down, silenced, ignored, or bypassed. We're called to go deeper than we ever have before as we welcome more and more of our soul here into our body and onto the planet. As we do, we discover the lost parts of ourselves that demand to be held and seen. This is a powerful card of rebirth and transformation. Cloaked in the darkest nights, seemingly separate from the divine we once so deeply knew, we're invited to find that the sacred that is all around us, below us, and within us. So, how is life currently trying to initiate you? So, I think a truth that you're finally ready to face is that whatever part of the dark night of the soul that you're in, this serves a purpose. I think you might have previously been more in a victim mindset of things happening to you. And I think you're starting to be open to the idea of things happening for you. Our shadow side, the dark night of the soul, those are aspects of ourselves that remain somewhat like hidden or like avoided or suppressed. These are aspects of ourselves that we generally struggle to accept. We struggle to, what's the word? Explore. We struggle to understand. It's the harder aspects of our personalities that we have to come to terms with and understand that they do serve a purpose. Okay. Let's get some, I want to pull some tarot here to get some clarification for you. But just know that if this message is resonating with you, you are in a part of your journey that's profound. Having the darkest night, being in the dark night of the soul, is the most profound chapter of a person's life because you come to terms with deeper, more unseen aspects of who you are. And it's this reckoning that propels you into like the next stage of growth for yourself, the next stage of expansion. All right, Spirit, can I get some more information here for my group ones on a truth they've avoided but are now ready to face? So you could be coming to terms with, you know, your shadow side, the hidden aspects of yourself that maybe you once disliked, maybe you once suppressed, maybe you don't quite understand, like, oh, why do I do this, or why do I have these habits, or why am I prone to thinking this way, you know, things like that. I think you're starting to come to terms with, like, okay, you know what, this is who I am, and this aspect of me actually serves a purpose. All right, we've got the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, so Three of Cups, when it's reversed, this can mean a couple different things. This can mean independence, and I think in this situation, in this particular reading, it does. I think for most of you, that's going to be what this is, because the Three of Cups, when it's upright, this is all about community, celebration, friendship, like general togetherness, like being in community with people. And so the reverse aspect of this is going to be just that independent, like withdrawal, coming into yourself, spending more time alone, which makes sense because you've got, you know, this is a very solo, independent type of journey in this card. And even in the depiction, I mean, you know, she is completely on her own here, right? Like there's no one else in this depiction. It's just her. I think you're coming to a point in your life where a sense of independence and being alone, a sense of isolation from perhaps your family, your friendship, is almost needed right now so that you're able to shine light on maybe the darker aspects of your personality and bring that to the surface so that you can process it, so that you can understand it, so that you can integrate the lessons from that. It's a profound place in the journey to be in. So if you're struggling with this right now, I want to encourage you to just be proud of the fact that you've reached this place in your life and that you're on this journey. Like this is tough stuff. This is hard. But it's necessary in order for expansion. It's necessary in order to understand ourselves more and to free ourselves from limitations that we think are there. Okay. So, like, it's a really great place to be, even though it's not easy. This is not for the weak minded. This is not for those that are, you know, less expanded. If you are in this place, you have already done some work to be able to get to this place. And you should take pride in the fact that your evolution has led you to this spot in your journey. Okay, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is all about having choices. You might be just reevaluating a lot of things in your life right now. Um, Reevaluating what actually fills your cup. Okay. And just like in the image here, you know, you've got all these different cups with all these different options. Okay. I feel like this is kind of you right now. And you probably are feeling a sense of overwhelm um, with choices and decisions and new ways of being, new ways of thinking, evaluating, you know, does this make me happy? Does this serve a purpose anymore? Perhaps I need to make different choices that are more in alignment with who I am. Seven of Cups can also talk about opportunities, okay? And like s- opportunities for new choices and searching for your purpose. A lot of you could be at a stage where you feel like you are searching for a new purpose in your life. And maybe the truth that you've avoided, but you're now ready to face, is you need to leave some of these previous commitments or friend groups or people that you're employed with, or even ideas of thinking that are parts of groups that you belong to, such as your friends or your family. Maybe the ideas and the narrations that exist in these groups don't fit the paradigm of where you're going now. And so you're faced with the new choices of, okay, what does fulfill my cup? What does resonate with me? What does feel like it's filling up my purpose in life? Let's get some more information here. This is a really exciting place to be. And again, I understand that this is not an easy place to be. This can feel very isolating. It can feel very confusing. It can feel very depressing, even at times, because you're kind of like shifting from like one stage of your life and your self identity into another. And that's not an easy process to go through. It's not for the weak minded, it's not for the weak hearted, it's not for those that haven't reached a certain level of consciousness yet. So I just want to keep reminding you that if like this reading resonates with you and you are feeling like, yes, this is the place that I'm at right now, I just want to reassure you that this is like such a profound piece of the journey for soul expansion and really honestly improving your life, because you kind of have to go through this in order to get more in touch with who you really are. And once you do, life just changes so profoundly, and your happiness will become so much more prevalent in your life. You've also got the card of sacred rest, retreat, balance, and restore. Yes. So this could be really important for you right now, given the stage that you're at and your soul's journey. Again, this is not for the weak hearted. This is not for the weak minded. These are challenging times. This takes a lot of integrity, it takes a lot of strength. And so you need to take care of yourself. Okay. Take time to rest. Take time to fill your cup. Take time to rejuvenate yourself. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. Speak to yourself kindly. Tell yourself that you are strong enough to go on this journey. You're already on it. If this reading resonates with you, you are already on this journey. You are already walking this path. You have the strength to see it through. You have the strength to go all the way. But you do need to rest. You do need to take care of yourself. It is important that you pair the growth and expansion, all the work that you're doing, with rest, taking care of yourself. Rest is sacred. And animals know this way more than people do. Transformation. Oh my gosh, guys. Who are you becoming? And just like, the sacred rest, in order for the butterfly to become a butterfly, it has to be in this chrysalis, it has to be in the cocoon. There has to be a period of rest in order for this transformation to take place. So, no surprise at all that that card is coming out. It's so fitting for your reading, and it's so beautiful that it would confirm what we're talking about, because you do need to rest in order to transform. Transformation is really hard work. So I think the truth that you've avoided, that you're now ready to face, is like almost shedding your old self. Maybe the old self that once hung out with certain people. Maybe the old self that once had certain types of conversations with certain types of people. It's like it no longer fits. It no longer makes sense for you. And so you're now ready to face this journey of like, I'm now going to go out on my own, and I'm going to let go of all of the expectations or the constructs or the stories that people that I used to spend time with repeat and recite. And I'm going to create my own story. I have choices now. I get to decide what makes sense for me. I think you're now ready to face that maybe you are transforming. And what once resonated, like with this Three of Cups here, I think you're ready to recognize it doesn't resonate anymore. And that's okay. That's actually good. That's actually good. For people that are on the spiritual awakening journey, and for people that are expanding their consciousness, it it's very common to not feel resonance with people that you once did. And so oftentimes relationships either go away completely, or they become much more subsided and less apparent in your life, because it just doesn't fit into the energy paradigm that you're transforming into. So this makes a lot of sense. I love that this is where you guys are. It's such a it's such a important aspect of the journey if you're interested in this stuff of expanding your consciousness and really connecting with your soul self, your higher self. This is such a necessary part of the journey that is so transformative. And again, like on the other side, it just leads you into like such a more profound sense of happiness in your life, because you're actually moving closer towards your like natural state of being. And it really is such a cool experience to go through. Okay, we've also got by the book. Okay, so when this card comes up, I always get kind of like two messages with it, where one is like a literal interpretation of like, okay, buy the book, purchase the book. So I'm viewing that as like a lot of you might be learning more about certain aspects of spiritual awakening, um, maybe just like spiritual concepts, esoteric concepts, um, that are just going to help expand your consciousness. And again, like, kind of give you more options of just like ideas in life, ways to live, um, ways of like thought patterns to have, different tools for you to manage yourself in this 3D reality. So that's stuff like meditation, breath work, divination, automatic writing, whatever it is, shadow work. There's so many things that go into like spirituality that you are probably researching, learning more about. Buy the book. So that's one is, if there's a book that's out there that's interesting to you, purchase it, learn more about it, expand your thinking, expand your awareness into new topics and ideas. I think that's such a great way to grow. Okay, so purchase that book if you're thinking about it, purchase that course. The other interpretation is, following in the footsteps. I mean, like literally, like in the picture here, follow in the footsteps of someone who does inspire you. How did they get to where they were? Maybe you're kind of looking at new ways of being and looking at different people, maybe online or in person, and having an admiration for their energy, the way that they live, the way that they carry themselves. And maybe there's a part of you that really desires to be more like that person. This card is telling you, follow in the footsteps. If you want to be more like this person that you're seeing, do something that you see them doing, or do something that you believe that they do in order to get to like the energy level that they're at. So just like imitate, follow in the footsteps. That's a great way to just invite new ways of being into your life, and using people as aspiration and like an ideal to strive towards is a great way to improve certain areas of your life, and kind of acknowledge that you can do these things just like they did. And we've also got Treasure Island. So yeah, like what do you treasure? What do you treasure in your life? This is Spirit's way of saying, really take into account what things that you are grateful to have, and carry that with you. Like always keep that in the forefront of your mind of like, I am so grateful that I have my health. I am so grateful that I have this safe, protective home to live in. These are the treasures in our life that we can often lose sight of in the day to day. Spirit is saying, keep that close to you. Like in this picture, he's literally got his treasure on his back, he is taking it with him. So, this is Spirit's way of saying, make sure you always keep into the forefront of your mind while you're going through this stage of the things that you do have, the treasures that you do have in your life. That's another great way to just keep yourself positive, keep yourself lighter when you are going through the darkest night, because it can be an intense, heavy period. But there's always something to be grateful for. And it never hurts to keep that in the forefront of our mind every day. Gratitude practices, first thing in the morning, maybe a good way to start your day to set the intention is even just find one thing. Say to yourself, like, I am grateful for this. Maybe that's your mantra for the day. Maybe that's literally what helps get you through the day if you're going through a really hard time with this. Okay, just keeping anything positive with you, on you at all times is going to help. It's going to help keep you moving, right? All right, we've got fork in the road. Yeah, I think again, the truth that you are now ready to face is you hit a fork in the road. You had a moment of, do I want to continue living this way? Do I want to continue feeling these feelings? And I think for most of you, you already know the answer is no. Like you've chosen a new way of being. You've now chosen, I'm going to take this journey solo. I'm going to maybe leave certain relationships behind, or put them more to the side where it doesn't have such an influence on my life, because I have choices. I'm transforming. Fork in the road. You've already made that choice. And then we also have the card breathe. Just breathe. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just because something is hard doesn't mean that you can't get through it. Even if you feel isolated, it doesn't mean you're alone. Even if you have moments of like these feelings of, I can't do this, this is too hard, this is too hard, just come back to your breath. At the very least, just remind yourself, okay, you know what? I'm feeling overwhelmed by life. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling down. Come back to your breath. Okay, you know what? I can control my breathing. Maybe we can't control everything that's going on around us and outside of us, but I can control my breath. Let me start there. Then just start there. Just start with slowing down your breathing. Get your body, get your energy to a calmer state. If you can do that, you have some control over yourself, and that's all that matters. You guys are heading into a new era of being, a new era of existing, a new era of consciousness for yourself. You are expanding, you are transforming. And the truth that you are now facing is that you get to decide your journey. You get to decide what resonates. You get to decide who you are, what you believe, what your life's about. You get to set your intention for the day. You get to do it. So just come back to your breath if everything feels overwhelming. Just at least remind yourself, I can control my breath. I love this reading for you guys. I am wishing you so much strength on this journey because it is, again, this is not for the weak. So if you're here, take pride in the fact that you are here because some people won't make it here in this lifetime. They will in future lifetimes, but in this lifetime, some people aren't ready. If you got this reading and it resonates with you, you are ready. Take pride in that. Okay, guys, that's what I have for your reading. I hope it resonates. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's leaving you feeling empowered. And I hope I get to see you on the next one. All right, bye. Hey, group 2. All right, if you chose this pile, this is your reading that is about the truth you've avoided, but you are now ready to face. All right, Spirit. Oh, right off the bat. Okay, we've got scrying, trust your visions, intuition, plant seeds. Okay, so do you have some intuitive nudges about some truth that maybe you're now finally able to recognize? The Spirit is saying that intuitively, this is already there. You should be having some sense of intuition about it. Now, scrying is the practice of just kind of like free writing, okay, where you just are writing out thoughts without thinking about it. That's like your higher self talking through you. But I'm going to pull the book on this one. I think Spirit is saying scrying could be a really great way for you to get some more clarity on this truth that you feel like you're ready to face. Scrying is a divination practice used by wise ones the world over throughout history. It involves focusing the gaze of an object. Oh, we're going to have to restart because I got that wrong. Now I know. All right, Spirit, let's try one more time. Hi, group 2. All right, if you chose this pile, this is your reading on a truth that you have avoided, that you are now ready to face. So, Spirit, can I please get some information from my group 2s on a truth that they've avoided, but they're now ready to face? My group twos, please, Spirit. All right, releasing the past, emerging, transforming, and energies transmuted. Okay, so I think that you're coming to a place with making peace with something that's happened in your past. And this doesn't mean that you feel fully healed from it. Okay, it just means that your energy body and emotional body is at a place where you're intentional and open to the idea of releasing some negative energies surrounding something in your past and using it as a catalyst to help you get some value out of it, some growth, some learning. At the very least, even if something negative has happened in your past that really hurt you or you really didn't like, you can use that as a learning tool to understand that you don't prefer that. Even if that's the lesson that comes from it, is I don't want that to happen. That doesn't resonate with who I am, or I would never do that to someone else. That might be like the only positive on the surface that can come from something seemingly negative in our past. So I think that that's a truth you're ready to face, is you're ready to not be so emotionally attached to something that's happened in your past. You're going to transmute that energy. Anything that's happened to us, especially if it's something difficult or painful, it will always help shape us. It will always help make us stronger. And again, it's not that you have to like make complete peace with it. It's just the intention of, I'm ready to transmute some of that energy into something positive for myself. Okay, so let's use an example as like of a abusive relationship. Let's say you had some relationship in the past that was abusive towards you. The strength that it took for you to survive the abuse that you endured made you stronger. Not only that, you are going to be more sensitive to others because of the pain that you experienced. So that makes you a more evolved, empathetic, sympathetic person because you went through trauma or abuse in your past. So there's always like the flip side of the coin. So that's transmuting energies, right? Like that's taking something like, I was once abused, but I would never treat someone the way that I was treated because I know the pain that it inflicts. So you're going to be a more thoughtful, empathetic person because of it. That's something good. That's transmutation. So that's just one example. But that's the truth that you are now ready to face, is like recognizing that staying emotionally attached to something in your past isn't serving you anymore. You are not what has happened to you. Okay, let me say that again. You are not what has happened to you. You get to choose who you are. You get to every day wake up and choose who you are. You are not the things that have happened to you in your life. I don't know who needs to hear that, but I felt very compelled to say it. All right, we've got alignment. It's all coming together, precision. So, this stage that you're at right now, this reckoning with your past, this realization that you are now ready to face it and transmute it, this is all part of the alignment for you, all part of your soul's journey of expansion. Everything serves a purpose. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is divinely orchestrated. and you are stepping into more of an alignment with your soul body, your higher self, and your mission here on earth. Okay. The timing of this is in alignment. The learning from this is in alignment. The transmutation of it and the implication of future experiences in your life are all going to be in alignment from it. Okay. You have new light growing within you. Okay. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So when the Wheel of Fortune is upright, this is all just kind of about, like cycles in nature, like things changing, destiny. This is nothing in life is constant. It's always in flux. It's always changing. And so when the Wheel of Fortune shows up in reverse, this can just mean like there's some resistance to this change. And I think that's kind of like your avoidance of this truth that you've been dealing with, but you're now moving into a stage of feeling like you're ready. Okay. So if some of you are, feeling resistance to change, Spirit is really urging you to just trust this process. Remember, it's in alignment. Okay. It's all like divinely orchestrated. It's hard for us humans to see that. Um, but there's a lot more going on outside of 3D reality, and we can't perceive that with our human mind. Okay. So, Spirit's just reminding you to trust in the cyclic nature of life, trust in the changes that are happening. Don't, this can also talk about being stuck in the past and like clinging to this idea of like holding on to something that doesn't serve you, is what I want to say. That's kind of like Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And because again, like the wheel is always turning, the cyclic nature of life and the universe is always cycling. And so clinging to, a part of it that is cycling its way out can feel really difficult because you're not meant to hold on to it. And I feel like you're kind of just like on the verge of shifting out of holding on to it because you've got releasing the past, and you're just now on the precipice of like being open to the idea of releasing the past. This is very much in line with Wheel of Fortune energy of moving through the cycles. Okay. Let's see what else we can get here. For my group twos. Don't be afraid of the changes that are coming your way. Embrace them. Face them with bravery. Embrace them with an expectation that it's in alignment. Assume it's in alignment, okay? I think that's going to make the changes a little more palatable. Spirit, can I get more information for my group twos here? Thank you. Okay, we've got the Six of Wands in reverse. Okay, this is about feeling defeat. This is about like feeling like we're not good enough. Maybe we tried something and it didn't really work out. And so we're kind of like retreating back. We're feeling embarrassed. We're feeling down on ourselves. It seems like you really have gone through something that has taken a toll on you. And you have kind of had this period. I feel like for most of you, you're kind of like right at the end of this period in your life, this chapter where something has happened in your past. You feel like a failure. It has really taken a blown on your sense of like confidence, your sense of self-worth, your sense of ability to like control your life. And you're you're struggling to kind of like heal from this, but you're aware of the fact that you don't want to be here anymore. Maybe some of you are just kind of feeling stuck with like how can I actually shift my energy and shift my experience of life to feeling like I'm stronger than what has happened to me. And so I think the truth that you're maybe coming to terms with is at the very least a reckoning that this doesn't feel good. Okay. Is it serving you? Is it serving you to be hung up on what's happened in your past? Is it serving you to stay attached to this sense of failure? Is it serving you to stay clinging to wishful thinking of something that's happened and you wished it would have gone a different way, and you replay these things in your head, and you're attached to the idea of like wanting it to kind of fit into this template of how it should have gone? This is going to be a real opportunity for you to maybe learn the lesson of letting go and trusting that it's all in alignment. And that can be really difficult when things aren't looking the way we hope for them to. But sometimes it's kind of like hindsight's 2020. Sometimes while it's happening to us, we don't see the value. We don't understand why. We don't, see any good that comes from it. But then if you give it some space and time and you look back, you go, oh, I see it now. And oh, I'm so glad it actually happened that way, because then X, Y, and Z happened. And that those X, Y, and Z would have never happened had that one negative event not happened. So I think that you're coming around to the idea of letting go of what you thought things were going to be or how they should be, and you're just trusting in the alignment and the divine timing of things and what happens for us in life. Okay, can I get more information for my group twos? Truth they've avoided but are now ready to face. Another thing I want to say is sometimes when things don't work out for us, it actually is working out for us. Okay, I'm not surprised this card came out. Peace. But I'll address this in a second. I want to get back to, sometimes when we think things aren't working out for us, again, it's the hindsight. Sometimes that is like it's like the universe is clearing out things that aren't really in alignment with you, aren't really in resonance with your soul, so that it can make space for something that is more in alignment. But when things are, the process to get there can feel really painful, and it can be confusing, and it doesn't make sense, and you don't see the value and why this is happening. It just feels painful or frustrating or makes us angry. But that actually sometimes is like it has to happen for something better to come along. Okay. And then you've got the card of peace. Peace. Make peace with it. Okay. Making peace with what has happened in your past. Making, at the very least, just acknowledging, okay, you know what? I don't understand why this has happened, but I'm going to allow myself the opportunity to see why in the future. And for now, I'm just going to allow myself the freedom to release it and not identify with it and not attach my self worth to it. Again, just because something has happened to you, it doesn't define who you are. Okay. Make peace. Find peace in your heart, regardless of what has happened in your past. Okay. You get to decide who you are. You get to decide your identity. You get to decide what your worth is, regardless of what happens to you. And I know that's easier said than done, but we have to take the empowerment back on ourselves, okay? We can't control what other people do. We can't control what other people say. We can't control the weather. We can't control a lot of aspects of our life, but we do get to control who we decide to be and how we define ourselves. And then you've got co-create. I mean, just like what I was saying, you get to define who you are. You get to define your self-worth. You are co-creating your life moment by moment by moment. Stay focused on the things you can control. Stay focused on the things you can create. Release the attachment to that which you can't. Let's see what else we can get for my group twos. Oop, that one flew out. Storm. Okay, disruption, chaos, change. All right, so things might feel stormy right now. You know, it might feel stormy, but storms bring change. Okay, like sometimes the disruption and the chaos has to come to mix everything up so that once the dust settles, it's like a new mixture. It's a new concoction. It births a whole new being of energy and material. So it does serve a purpose. I'm going to pull the book on this one. Let's see what the author had to say. Because I want to expand this information here. Are you experiencing a time of challenge or rough waters? The storm card refers to big shifts, uncomfortable transitions, full-on chaos, and unforeseen change. When the storm card reveals itself, it generally means that there are things in your life that are not serving your growth and highest good. What was I saying? Release the past. The universe is shaking things up to make needed change. It may be alerting you to a rumbling in your life that needs your attention before it becomes a giant storm. This is an opportunity to assess and reprioritize what is important so that you can align to your needs in a more harmonious way. Okay? If you are already in the midst of a storm, this card is here to tell you that sometimes it is best to throw up your hands and ride it out. Offer the things that you can't control to your higher self. Oh my gosh. And ask this cosmic aspect of you to help align things to your highest good. Please know that when things get hard, this too will pass. And if this storm has already come and disrupted your life in big or small ways, then it is time to pick up the pieces. It is time to look at your life and consider what you may want to do differently moving forward. This is an opportunity for rebirth here, a chance to plant new seeds. There is a saying, the obstacle is the way, which means that there is something for you in the challenge ahead, generally in the form of growth and new opportunities. Well, there you go. So if you're in the middle of the storm, ride it out. Once the dust settles, you get to reevaluate what life will look like, who you are, what your worth is. And then you've got ancestors. And yeah, I'm sorry, I almost said that word wrong. Ancestors, guidance, protection, lessons. You are protected. Your ancestors want you to know that they're with you. So maybe, praying to some ancestors, doing divination work with someone that maybe isn't in your life anymore could be really helpful and bring you hope. But they want you to know that they're with you and they're supporting you during this really challenging time that you're in. You're protected. There are lessons that you are learning right now, but this is all for your highest good. And the truth that you're coming into an alignment with now is we can't change the past. We can't control the past. Can't control what other people do, but I can control myself. I can control my narrative about it. I can control the stories that I tell myself. I can control my self worth. I get to define my self worth. I get to learn the lessons of what's happened in my past and use that to have a brighter, more evolved future. Okay, guys. Well, I wish you just a lot of strength and courage through this time. It's amazing that you're going to be facing this truth and you get to co create your self worth and where you go from here. So don't ever forget that. You are the co creator, and do what you can to find peace and release from what's happened. All right. Well, I hope this has been helpful. And I hope I get to see you guys on another reading. All right. I'm wishing you love. I'm wishing you light. Thanks. Hey, group 3. All right. If you chose this pile, this is your reading on a truth that you've avoided that you are now ready to face. So let's dive into it. Let's see what we've got. Spirit for my group 3s. I knew this card was going to come up again. This came up for the last group. I just had the feeling. Okay. We've got storm, disruption, chaos, change. Okay. This is so funny. Okay. So if you're going through a storm moment, if you're going through a hard time, or maybe, this is a truth that is coming to light from a past storm moment that's happened in your life. Remember, storms are there to reset energy. They stir up everything. They refresh everything. Sometimes it can look chaotic, but it's a necessary process that nature goes through in order to disrupt the current environment and bring about change. So change is afoot. Maybe that's the truth that you're ready to face here, is you're ready to make some changes externally, internally. You'll know kind of what that will be. This card also came up for group 1. Okay, a lot of repeats here. We've got transformation. So kind of like just what I was saying, you're going through a transformative time. Things are being shaken up and disrupted, and the truth that you are coming into is one of transformation. There's going to be a lot of change that you are either currently going through, have recently just gone through, or you are about to go through. Maybe change that you're heavily considering. This could be, again, this can be external or internal. This could look like changing your beliefs, changing your thought patterns, changing the stories you tell yourself. Or it could be more external, like I'm going to be changing where I live, the people that I spend time with, excuse me, my work situation. Okay, going through a transformative time here where change is happening. We're reevaluating, we're purging and cleansing things that don't resonate with us anymore. All right, we had 2. We have the Empress reverse. So you might be feeling a bit of like lack of ability to create, like you're not able to create the change that you want, or just create in general, because the Empress, when she's upright, And certainly you can see in, the depiction here, she's pregnant. She is literally birthing life. It's like the ultimate card of like the ultimate creator. And she has had success in her creation because, um, you know, in the original depiction of the Empress, she is surrounded by, um, lots of like vegetation and plants, and she's in a very like fruitful setting, meaning like she's already like created this for herself. So it's like not someone who's on the verge of creation, someone who has created and found success. And in this picture, she's heavily pregnant. This isn't the start of a pregnancy. This is towards the end of a pregnancy. So she has been successful in creating this baby, or in this image here, it's like the earth. So she's had some success in her creation journey. So being reversed is just an imbalance of that type of archetype. So it could be you feel like you are unable to create, you're feeling like a lack of clarity or a lack of confidence to do so. Maybe you're just kind of confused and you're not really sure what to do. Um, it can also be where you're just like not taking the bull by the horns, like you're expecting someone else to fix things or create things for you. Um, so maybe a truth that you're coming to terms with is the recognizing that you have to create this for yourself. Like you are the one that is empowered to create the life that you want. You can't rely on others. So that's coming through. I think that could be applicable for some of you. Maybe there's some of you that are neglecting your ability to create. Okay. Like you'll know if that resonates for whatever reason. Maybe you don't feel confident enough. Maybe you're relying on other people to do it and your expectations aren't healthy. Um, Maybe that you just don't feel strong enough. And now you're finally coming to terms with like, okay, I'm transforming. I am strong enough to do this. And you are. We all are. Okay, yeah, and it came out with the King of Wands. So, King of Wands is someone who takes control of his life, he takes control of his passions. These are kind of like in juxtaposition because King of Wands is someone who has accomplished what he wants to accomplish. He is a natural leader. He he makes decisions based on passion. He lets his passion drive him. He it's like he it's like he has this entrepreneurial leadership type of go-getter type of attitude. He empowers himself. He leads with passion. He speaks with passion. He makes decisions based on not just passion, but balance with like logic and reasoning and communication. Someone who's very balanced. So I think these two came out together because I think you've got the card of transformation, you've got change. You are changing from someone who feels less empowered of your ability to create for yourself into someone who will, someone who does, someone who gets it, someone who sees it, someone who chooses it. So, woo! Okay, that is a huge truth that you are now ready to face. I think you are ready to face your own sense of personal power, empowerment. You are recognizing that you do have the power to choose your self worth. You do have the power to choose your own thoughts. You do have the power to choose your own words. You do have the power to create. You do have the power to lead yourself, lead others. Ooh, powerful energy in this reading. I love this. Let's see what else we can get for my group threes. This is a huge piece of the spiritual awakening process is honestly the sense of empowerment, self-empowerment, and sovereignty. Once you get into the spiritual awakening journey, like you really kind of start to recognize, I think for most of us, like the tendency to want to sit in like a victim mentality, and you're able to kind of catch it and see that you get to choose to not be a victim. Like it really does come down to choice. And you become just more empowered to kind of like see your life from a different lens of one that is like sovereignty and empowerment, self definition. It's such a profound change to go through because I think a lot of our life, there's so much programming around fear and control and manipulation. And once you start to break out of that construct that society has put in place for us, your your awareness of how sovereign you really are becomes apparent. And so I love this change for you. I love this transformation. It's one of the foundational aspects of soul expansion truly, and making this life so much more in alignment with who you are. You've also got chop wood. This card is all about chopping wood, doing what needs to be done. Sometimes in life, these are like the mundane activities that we have to do uh, just to, kind of get through the day and survive and take care of ourselves. And so, Spirit is saying, like, you might have to chop wood for a little bit. You might have to kind of do some of the dirty work, some of the stuff that's not as romanticized or um, you know, flashy or seemingly like exciting or pretty on the surface. It's the nitty gritty work that we all have to do um, to take care of ourselves, essentially. Like, let's use this card literally. You've got chop wood. Why are we chopping wood? Well, you need wood for fire. You need wood to cook food. You need wood to provide heat. Um, so it's like doing those types of activities so that our needs are met, so that we can continue to take care of ourselves the way that we deserve to be taken care of. And so sometimes you got to do the tasks that are redundant or seemingly like menial on the surface, or just kind of like not exciting, but it's part of what kind of keeps our day-to-day survival intact, and more than survival, self-care. All right, we've got mending. So what in your life needs to be mended? Now this can be within yourself, something that you need to tend to, that like I'm kind of hearing healing your inner child. Maybe you have some like childhood wounds that are coming to the surface, and this is part of the truth that you've avoided but you're now ready to face. Some of it might need mending, some of it might need a little bit of care and reflection and thought. um, Self-talk, maybe some of you just need to self-talk yourself. Maybe you need to be the parent for yourself that you never had. um, Mending can also be external, so like what in your external reality could use some mending right now. So this could look like relationships. This could look like your physical space, your home, like things that need to be taken care of. Kind of fits in with the chop wood, which is like, you know, okay, what activities around the house need to get done? Like maybe I need to tackle that project that I've put off. Maybe I need to go through and do some spring cleaning and mend the space that I reside in so that it's more peaceful and more rejuvenating for me. So you'll know, what that looks like for you. This could be all kinds of sorts of different things. But what needs attention? What needs some mending? What needs some love internally or externally? Okay. So hopefully you'll know which of those is going to resonate with you, and take some time to do that. Um, in times of chaos and change, it's important to always take care of ourselves, okay? And the spaces we live in. Okay, we've also got the end is also the beginning. So if something in your life feels like it's ending, Spirit wants you to know that everything is cyclic. Okay, so an end is also a beginning. Nothing ever truly dies. Nothing ever truly just ends and is gone. That's just not the way the universe works. And I know in our 3D reality, sometimes it seems that way, but that's actually not the case. Even a plant, when it dies, it gets recycled back into the earth, and renewed growth comes from it. Like, it becomes fertilizer and mulch for other life forms that take it in and sprout new life. So that's a good like analogy, excuse me, in my mind, that I kind of think of with this card is nothing ever truly ends. And if something is ending in your life right now, just know that it's the beginning for something else. So maybe you're coming to terms with an old version of yourself that just doesn't resonate with you anymore. Um, and you're coming into the recognition that maybe this doesn't resonate anymore. I'm not happy. I don't want to feel these feelings anymore. I don't want to have these habits anymore. I don't want to be around these people anymore. I don't want to stay at this job anymore. Whatever it is, that's the truth that you're coming to terms with, is it doesn't resonate now, and who am I becoming? Oh, okay. And then we've got stepping stones. Take the next step, simplicity, focus. So, when we're on a journey of transformation, and especially when there's a storm and it, seemingly on the surface is like dark and chaotic, it can be overwhelming and it can be difficult and confusing. Spirit is saying you don't have to have the whole path laid in front of you to in order to go down it. Okay, just take the next step. Don't feel like you have to have like the end figured out in order for you to make progress. Just start making steps, start taking small steps. And the journey and the path will like expand and continue to reveal itself as you go down these stepping stones. So do not think you have to have the end figured out. You have to know what it looks like, know what it feels like, know every step of the journey. That's not how life works. That's certainly not how transformation works. You're not meant to see the whole picture. You're just meant to take a step, take a step, take a step, keep a vision in your mind of where you'd like to go. And that's going to be enough. Okay. And then you've got ancestral messages, connection, belonging, ask for help. So connect with some ancestors. Maybe there's someone in your family that isn't with you any longer, and you like praying to them and you like feeling a connection to them. Spirit is encouraging you to do that. They are there for you, they are with you. You are not alone. Ask for help. Um, find connection to your ancestors through divination or prayer. You know, anything that you can do to feel that sense of connection is worth doing. And so Spirit's encouraging you to do that right now. That could be really fulfilling for some of you and just kind of help get you through this chapter that you're in right now. But I love this reading too. This is kind of similar from the first one that I got, or I'm sorry, the second reading that I did for group two, which is, a heavy transformation and really just the truth that like you are empowered to choose who you are and that it's okay to change. It's okay to transform. It's okay if maybe what once worked for you doesn't feel right anymore. It's okay. I think a lot of you are coming to that acknowledgement of like, this just doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't resonate. That's actually good. You're meant to have those moments so that you can continue to evolve. So I hope this reading has been helpful for you guys and it's going to help you kind of evolve in this transformation with like a healthier mindset. And I appreciate you watching and I hope I get to see you on the next one. All right, bye.